All right, here we are back in Cyberpunk. We're at 1440 with this test on the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte. We're just going to run through it. This is the low setting on DLAA. So nothing is being upscaled, just a standard DLAA model, and everything is on the M preset for the new DLSS 4.5. So we'll go through M, and then when we get to Ultra Performance, we'll jump over to the L model. Because that is by far the better of the two for Ultra Performance. We're just going to see what the 5060 Ti can handle at 1440 today. So let's go ahead and jump over into it. Go into settings here and just kick it over to medium. Bring it back to that transformer model, DLAA. Come down here. Everything looks good. Let's get all this stuff turned off because it looks pretty bad. All right, so everything looks good here. I like to leave these sections in these tests so that you can verify along with me. But that right there is about a 60 FPS experience on just plain medium with no upscaling with a 35 millisecond PCL. So right here we are looking like a little bit of upscaling wouldn't be a bad idea, especially since we are on this new model. It looks fantastic. So let's jump over and do that now. And just see what we can expect. I'm kind of getting through these a little bit quick because I know that people really just want to see the ray tracing. But I like to just go ahead and give everything that I can in these videos and let you make your own determinations. But yeah, we are at over 100 FPS here with a 26 millisecond PCL. And right around here, I like Dogtown because this loop right here is a little hard to run, but then once you get to this backstretch, it is a lot easier to run. So you have a nice swing of, you know, different circumstances that will give you an idea of how it will perform in, you know, most of the game. All right, so yeah, let's jump over and do it now. I'm going to kick on the next level, which is high. We're going to leave it on quality, bring it back to transformer. Leave that on quality, and everything looks good here. Let's turn all this mess off because it really degrades the image in my opinion. So yeah, everything looks good here. Quality on high, and that gives you 29 milliseconds on your PCL with 84 FPS. Now we're going to dip down once we get over here closer to this roundabout. But you know, we're just going to see how it performs, especially once we kick on that ray tracing. All right, so yeah, let's see here. We're at 88, 89, almost 90. So that's really good, and nothing's really sticking out as a problem at all. Got plenty of VRAM on this card, so that's not going to be an issue. 27 milliseconds on our PCL. So let's jump over again and kick on that ultra setting. So this is no ray tracing. It's just ultra with basically the pre-ray tracing setting, but it still looks pretty nice. All right, this is on quality. So let's see what that does for us. Still gives us a PCL of 33 milliseconds. So mid 30s is really good. Anything under 50 is typically what I like to shoot for. But yeah, we are at 68, 65 FPS here. So it handles ultra just fine with quality upscaling. So that's good to know. All right, so I'm just going to keep rolling through here and come around here and get a nice little number here around the roundabout. Let's see what it does here. Drops into the high 60s, mid 60s. Pretty good. All right, so let's kick over to ray tracing. This is just going to be ray tracing low, which is it's pretty easy to run. Honestly, it's not hard at all. It tends to run pretty similar to oops, need to go back. Tends to run pretty similar to just ultra. All right, so turn all this off here. Again, I like to keep these sections in here. So ray tracing on low gives you local shadows. So I need to bring that back in. All right, so everything looks good here. Ray trace lighting. I'm going to go ahead and actually redo this here because some things got moved around. All right, so yeah, let's go through here. Quality. All right, so everything looks good now. Okay, so I just wanted to make absolutely sure that we are not making any mistakes here. So everything looks good. All right, so let's jump back into quality with ray tracing on low. And as you can see here, it didn't really cost too much at all. It basically runs about as good as ultra does. But yeah, we're at 65 FPS on this backstretch. But PCL's around 35 milliseconds. 70 back here, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm not sure why my power is not reporting on the GPU. I just noticed that, but I guess ignore it. I don't know, something must be up with the with that particular metric, so just ignore that. All right, so yeah, we are looking like 64 FPS here. All right, let's keep on going around now. It's gonna drop off a little bit whenever we go to that ray tracing medium, just because it's obviously harder to run. That brings in your sun shadows. Go ahead and apply this. Actually, let's turn all this off first and then apply that. All right, so ray tracing medium, sun shadows, that gives us 45 FPS here with a 48 millisecond PCL. So right here, I would definitely want to go up in my upscaling to try to get this at least 60 most of the time. And by doing that, you know, then you can continue to work with DLSS more and more until you get to a nice playable frame rate with, hopefully, we can get to path tracing and actually get a playable experience. That would be pretty cool. So let's try that now. So 49, 50 FPS on that setting. So let's jump over to balance to leave everything else alone. All right, so right here we are at that 60 where we touched it, but this is a harder area to run right here. So this would likely be 60 most of the time in the game, and you're at 40 milliseconds on your PCL. So this isn't completely maxed out ray tracing, but it is starting to get a little bit more intensive. But it is a pretty good setting. As you can see, we're doing okay on our PCL, 37 milliseconds there. And our frame rate is around 60, so that's not bad. I still want to go up to performance, just because I know once I click over to ultra ray tracing, we're going to need it. All right, so that gives us about 10 or so more FPS. PCL's at 34 milliseconds and about 66 to 70, low 70s. I'm going to kick it over to that psycho lighting as well. That typically doesn't do too much damage. It's just kind of like the thing I like to test, because it's like the max version of ray tracing before you jump into path tracing. So I'm going to do that now. Just making sure that I'm doing this right. All right, so yeah, let's kick all this stuff off. So apply that. All right, so this is ultra ray tracing. Go ahead and kick it back over to balanced, or performance, I mean. Ray reconstruction needs to stay off, and the reason is because if you turn on ray reconstruction, it will fall back to the old preset K model, so DLSS 4. So it gets rid of DLSS 4.5 and goes back to 4. So we won't be able to test ray reconstruction, unfortunately, because yeah, it's just not ready yet, I guess, and this is a beta, so we're just going to take what we can get. But yeah, we're at 65 FPS here, 35 milliseconds on our PCL, and ultra ray tracing, let's see here, looks like about 60 to 70 FPS, so looking good. 39 milliseconds around here, so dipping just into the 60s, so nothing too bad. And this is let's kick over to that psycho setting and just go ahead and, you know, kind of get this out of the way here. So 62 FPS, and this is somewhere you could definitely do some frame generation from, because you've got 60 FPS and you've got let's see, 39 milliseconds. So this would be a perfectly good situation to frame generate from, which we'll do that at the end. We'll look at frame generation just kind of as like a whole batch. All right, so let's go up to path tracing. Now that we've kind of worked our way through the ray tracing section, so let's go to overdrive. Let's go to balance. Let's keep everything as it was. Turn ray reconstruction off so we stay on the M model. And then, of course, all this gets turned off right here. And let's see, a little bit of sharpness usually looks a lot better. I'm going to go up to maybe 50, and then we'll see what we can do there. So this is basically everything settings-wise that you're looking at here. All right, so ray reconstruction is off, performance, and this is full path tracing. All right, so right here, our PCL is about 72 milliseconds. With a frame rate of 40 FPS, so not the best performance. However, before now, going to ultra performance was just like unthinkable. It just looked so blurry, and it was kind of just like, why would anybody want to look at this? It was just kind of awful. But what I'm going to do now is, switch over to that L model, which is specifically tuned for ultra performance, and see what kind of numbers we get there, because I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do path tracing now with a lot more image clarity on ultra performance with the 5060 Ti on 1440, because it's kind of always been locked out of 1440 on the super high path tracing settings like this, just due to ultra performance looking so bad. So I'm going to jump out and kick that new model on, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are back in. It got everything set to exactly as it was. Got the transformer model set to ultra performance. Ray reconstruction is off, and everything is as you see here. Everything was basically just left the exact same, but I'm using the L model. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually sharpen it all the way up. We're not using frame generation right now, so sharpen it to your liking, but it looks really good sharpened. I mean, this is like incredible how good it looks now. Be sure that you're streaming this in 4K. Make sure you're at full screen on preferably like a laptop so you can really appreciate what it looks like. I record all these in very, very high bit rates in AV1, so I'm trying to combat the YouTube compression as much as I can for you guys. It's not perfect, but it does make a difference to look at it at full screen. So, we're looking like 65 FPS with a PCL of 38 milliseconds here. And this is remarkable how nice this looks. This is like, it's a blurry mess without this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stop right here, and I'm going to get some footage of this exact spot. Okay, so I'm just going to sit here, block traffic, whatever, and then side by side I'm going to show you what the old K model looked like by just toggling the ray reconstruction, and that will basically give you an idea of what K looked like, because we're just going to treat it like a toggle. All right, so let's continue with the rest of the test here. So with a PCL of 41 milliseconds and an FPS of 70 at times, over 60 for sure, and this is again one of the harder to run areas of the game, I think some frame generation is perfectly doable. And this performance with the visual quality enhancements of this particular model, night and day. I mean, this is like it looks like performance used to. I mean, it looks that good. And you're doing this with a 5060 Ti, and I definitely get the 16 gigabyte model though, because you see our VRAM is well over 8. So just skip the 8 gig model, get the 16 if you're considering this resolution. But I think personally that ultra performance is just a massive improvement, just absolutely massive. So I'm going to finish out with some frame generation, and then I'll be right back. All right, so here we are on performance, or ultra performance rather. Let me jump in here and show you the settings. Sometimes it likes to kick that back on. Yeah, so I knew something was blurry looking. All right, so we are on frame generation, ultra performance, still on the L model. Ray reconstruction needs to stay off. And so right here, we're looking good. Everything looks nice. So we're going to be able to work through these frame generation settings just to see what we can expect. So right here on ultra performance with the L model, you're at 100 FPS, and you are looking like 46 milliseconds on your PCL, which is phenomenally good. I mean, this looks so good. I would play it like this. This is probably the setting that I would use to keep your PCL down, to keep your visuals sharp, and to keep your frame rate up. Just really awesome that ultra performance is now a viable setting to use, because before now it was pretty much a train wreck. I mean, it looked so bad that I just didn't even test it usually. But yeah, at 2x, you're well into the 100 FPS range a lot of the time here with a PCL that doesn't suck. So let's jump over to 3x and see what we can do there. So 3x gives you a PCL of about 60. Let's see, let it stabilize. Okay, it's going down. So went up to about 52, which is more than acceptable still. For me, I say all this from my perspective, so you know, I just like to tell you the number. But yeah, this is 150 FPS on 1440p on a 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte. Definitely get the 16 gig. I mean, our VRAM is definitely well over 8, so this is only doable on a 16 gigabyte model. But yeah, we're looking pretty good here. I mean, everything is, you know, dramatically better looking than the old ultra performance model for sure. Way better. That, like I said, definitely a viable setting now. So let's just keep on going and kick on the 4X just to see kind of what we can expect there. So jump over and do it. All right, so yeah, we are at 175 FPS here on ultra performance, and we are looking like 60 mid-50s on our PCL. So even this is a viable setting. Even 4X is a viable setting. You know, I probably wouldn't go this high just because it introduces latency that I don't really think is necessary to justify. You know, I mean, if you're at 100 FPS, you're on the game like this, you're fine. It's not competitive or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, this has been just like a pretty good look at it. Like I said, it's a gigantic visual improvement using the L model on ultra performance. It just looks way better. All right, so I was actually about to just end the video there, but I wanted to come and explore a little bit of 4K just because the ultra performance model is, you know, quite a bit sharper at 4K, and I wanted to see if it gave our card enough of a break to actually have a viable playable experience. And right now, what I'm looking at is ultra performance on the L model still. I'm looking at 60 FPS with a PCL of around 70 milliseconds. Now, typically I would say shoot for 50 milliseconds, but you know, when you're at the extremes that we're at right now with path tracing in Cyberpunk at 4K on a 5060 Ti, this is actually a playable experience now. Ultra performance just unlocked this resolution for this card with these settings with the right mindset. Your PCL is going to be high no matter what. You know, of course, at path tracing, your the base frame rate is much lower than what you know, you're looking at now with 60 FPS. But let's just go up and check out a little bit more frame generation. So right here, what you're looking at is ultra performance, full sharpening, 3X now. That was 2X. And all this stuff is just completely unchanged. So we're just upping the resolution for what is basically a better looking image, you know, because ultra performance does look really good on 4K. I mean, it looks exceptionally good just because that base resolution is like 720p, and you know, ultra performance L model is tuned to that. So right here we have 77 milliseconds, 75 milliseconds on our PCL, full path tracing, and 80 FPS on a freaking 5060 Ti at 4K. I mean, is the PCL like the best? Not really. Is it unplayable? Absolutely not, especially on a controller. This feels like really decent. So what I'm going to do now is check out maybe 4K and then see what happens if we just give up the path tracing and just still use full ray tracing, because I'm expecting it to be, you know, not too bad. Now, our PCL right now has crept up. I'm letting it settle down. We're at 100 FPS, but our PCL is right at 85 milliseconds. I mean, a little high for a controller, sure, but you know, you're on a 5060 Ti, so you got to take some things into consideration too, at just how good this model is. I mean, this preset is amazing. I mean, it looks like performance did. I mean, it's that nice looking. So what I want to do now is take you over to just a situation that, you know, kind of just gets rid of the overdrive. Yes, I want to do that. All right, gets rid of the overdrive, but it leaves it on the highest level of ray tracing. I can't get my words out. So we're going to get rid of, let's see if I can get this to do it. Okay, ultra. All right, so yeah, just make sure. All right, so let's go up to Psycho. path tracing is off. We're 2x, and right now we are on ultra performance, everything maxed out. We have no ray reconstruction on. We don't want to get rid of this model. So everything is as you see here. So we're going to test this out at just simply giving up the ray trace or the path tracing and going to ray tracing, which still looks really good. And with just a 2x frame gen, we are at about 77 FPS or so. And our PCL is much better. It dropped down to low 60s or high 50s, which is that is really good. I mean, if you're on a controller or even a keyboard, having that ain't bad at all. So I'm just looking at it and just trying to like see clarity wise, just how good it looks. I mean, it looks extremely viable as an option to play at 4K with a 5060 Ti. It's not perfect, but it's doable. Whereas used to, it was a kind of a hot mess. So let's go up to 3x and see what we can do here. So right now, see what our PCL settles down to. All right, so let's see. We've got 112 FPS, and we are at still around 64, 63 milliseconds there, right around mid 60s. So you know, it's not under 50, but it's not like 80 or 90. You know, I mean, it's still extremely fluid on a controller for sure. And I don't know how many people play this on a controller versus mouse and keyboard, but I play a lot of this game on a controller. I can't drive on a mouse and keyboard. That's mainly the reason too. But yeah, we've got 113 FPS here. So let's go and check out 4x. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. Let's go to 4x. All right, so 4x frame generation on top of this new L preset, and we're at 67, so really 70. So really the PCL doesn't creep up too much based on 2x, 3x, or 4x. It does creep up a little bit, but it settles down around mid 60s for all the settings really. And you got 130 FPS here. So all we did was just give up a little bit of that, you know, that path tracing and go down to what is effectively really still beautiful ray tracing. So, you know, if there's anything you can take away from this, it's that the ultra performance with the L preset is the way to go if you really want to, you know, play at 4K on a lower end card like this. So what I want to do now is just go to that ray trace medium. I'm trying to get something that kind of hits that threshold of something that would be under 50 milliseconds on our PCL. So by just jumping into this here with 2x, let's see, we've got 55, 58 FPS here. Let me double check my settings to make sure that, yeah, it's got that auto one. I don't want that. All right, I knew something was going on. All right, so make sure you double check. That's why we do this. So that gives everything the following settings there. You know, I fixed that kind of funky auto thing that it does. So right now we're at 95, 96 FPS with a 2x frame gen, and there's our PCL under 50. So if you just go down to what is effectively, you know, a high rate or a medium ray trace, I think they call it medium or high. I'm not sure what they call it, but whatever the one right under ultra is, that will give you an extremely playable experience. I mean, all we really did was just give up reflections. That's really, you know, regardless of what the preset says, that's what it did. It gave up reflections, which are beautiful in this game. Don't get me wrong. I would probably still keep it on that higher setting just to get the reflections and not have to deal with and just use more frame gen. I mean, you know, it's not like I can tell the difference between 55 and 65 milliseconds anyway, especially on a controller. So really, it's all kind of down to personal preference here. So let's work our way through these different models here, these different frame generation models. So this is 3x here, and yeah, we've still got a PCL in the mid 50s with 120 FPS. This is incredible. I mean, it doesn't look like crap. That was my main thing with ultra performance, is that it just looked so bad. So blurry, and all that is just like pretty much gone. I mean, there's still occasional things that are like a little bit flickery here and there, but it's not near as bad or distracting as it once was. All right, so let's jump over and kick on 4X. Then I guess we'll wrap up. I just wanted to kind of see what this what 4K would look like, and it is viable. It's doable with the new ultra performance enhancements for sure. And this is only going to get better, so I'm pretty excited. Yeah, we've got let's see, what's our PCL, still in the 50s and 147 FPS. So if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. The watch time is what helps me out the most. If there's anything you want to do that helps me out the channel, it's just watch as many of my videos for as long as you can. That is the only thing that really matters. The more of that happens, the better and better my channel can get exposed and not get buried and all that stuff. So I really do appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.